As you know, I'm Kyneton the Genius, and today we are going to be continuing from day 8 on our Python in 10 days. Actually, we are winding down, and I'd like to say thumbs up to you if you've come this far. We just have about 3 lessons more to go. What are we going to be learning today? We are going to be learning about dates and times in Python. How do we format dates? How do we do date formats in string and in other types? How do we display dates in a very user-friendly format? This is what we are going to be talking about today. How do we display a calendar and things like that. If you are joining for the first time, I would like to recommend you hit the subscribe button below. There's a red subscribe button there. Click on the subscribe button, and also there's a bell icon there. Hit on it. That's a notification icon, so when I make a new lesson, you get notified immediately. I remain Kyneton the Genius, and also I'd like to hear from you. Leave me a comment below this video if this has been informative for you. Meanwhile, let's get right into the classroom and let's start working with dates and times in Python. Now, working with date and time is really very interesting in Python. Now, see what's going to happen. I'm going to first import calendar, and now I'm going to say my calendar equal to calendar.month, and let's say 2019 and month 10, and then I go ahead to print my calendar and see what is going to happen. It's really so interesting working with date and time. Now it displays a very beautiful calendar, October 2019, as you can see right here. So this is actually step 4, that is subtopic 4. So let's just go ahead to start from the first one, since we are taking it step by step so that we are actually cover everything about Python. Remember, this is day 8 of Python in 10 days. All right, so I would like to remind you to subscribe if you've not subscribed. So hit the subscribe button, because after now we'll be moving into data science in 10 days. I'm actually not going to spend time on unnecessary things. I'm going to focus on the key things that you need to learn. Now, there is something called the time tuple. The time tuple is simply a representation of time made up of 9 items. Before I talk more about the time tuple, I'm going to mention that for you to use time, you need to import the time module. So when you say import time, we're actually importing the time module. Although I think we are going to be talking about module, I can't remember, but module are collection of functions or other codes you may need to get things done. So if I say current time, let's say I want to get the current time, I can say current time. Now this is a variable, you can use any name you like. Current time is equal to time dot time. So I just print current time, and now it's going to print the current time, but in something you can see it prints the current time, but then you can see how it appears. So how do we actually manage this situation? To manage this situation, we are going to first talk about this time tuple. So the time tuple is a collection of 9 items, as I mentioned. The first one is the year. We have the month, day, hour, minute, second, day of week, day of year, daylight saving. So let's first talk about formatting time. So in case you want to format this time, instead of saying time.time, you can just say time.askTime. So ASC. So it seems like ASCII time. So ASCII, meaning that it's formatted in an encoding that will be readable, that will represent the time. So if I print it at this time, you can see it gives us the time, Thursday, October 31, and so on and so forth. So if you count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are 2 more that are not very necessary, like the day of year. What do we need the day of year for? Let's say the year is made up of 365 days, and then we are in day 400, or we are in day 500, or sorry, we are in the 300, or we are in the 350. It doesn't really matter. All right, so this is a component of the time tuple, and to format time, just have it in your mind. You use ask time, ASC time function with the time module, and also remember that you display the current time using by simply using time. All right. So we also have talked about this calendar. I've showed you how to print the calendar. Now I'm going to paste this code once again. Remember, to use the calendar, you need to import calendar. Now, using calendar is very, very important because you may have to write programs that actually use calendars. So in this case, we have calendar.month, February 2019, and when I print it, it's going to display the calendar for February 2019. So let me give you some really interesting assignment. I want you to prepare the calendar for the whole year. So what I mean is print out the calendar for January, February, all the way to December. So that's the assignment I'm going to give you at this point. So in the time model, we have a number of functions that you may need. So now I'm not going to talk about all these functions. Let's just talk about time the sleep. So in this case, you suspend the calling thread for the specified seconds. Well, let's not talk so much about this. Now, when it comes to this tool, we are going to talk about this in the next, just after now, in the next session, we are going to talk about this extensively because this is how to format time to display the way you want. Do you want to display the full day? Do you want to display the full name of the week? Do you want to display 2019 or you want to just say 19? And things like that. We are going to talk about it very much because this is really interesting. We also have the calendar module, have things like functions related to calendar. For instance, you want to display the complete calendar. By default, Monday is taken as the first day of the week, then Sunday is regarded as the last day. So you can actually change up these things. Let's take, for instance, we have this calendar, the current calendar that's from Monday all the way to Sunday. We can actually change it by saying my calendar dot first day of week dot first sorry you say calendar dot first day of the week dot first so calendar dot first day of the week actually returns the first day of the week for that calendar. So by default, the first day of the week is Sunday. All right, so let's just move on. Calendar.month, that returns the current month, year, month, week. So I'd like to recommend that you play around with these functions and see what you have. Now let's move on to the next one, actually how to format time. So let's just move on to the next one. So it's also under time, this date and time too. Okay, so in this case now we are going to be importing a number of things. We are going to be importing date, we are going to be importing time, and we are going to be importing date time. So I'm going to say import dates, or import date time is okay, import date as well. Okay, actually I want to import only date. So it gives this error. So the first thing we want to do is to import date time and date time. So instead of typing it out, I'm just going to copy it and paste, right? So the idea, the focus for now is we want to display time and date in a very good format. For instance, we can say something like 12/09, we have 2019. We can also say 12/9/19. All these are different ways of displaying date and time. We can also say in this way, like this is also correct. We can also say something like this is also correct. So how do we control how time and date actually displays? So let's get started. Let's start with today's date. I'm going to say today is equal to dates.today. So that gives us the today's date. So if I print out today, let me just print out today and let's see. So you can see it displays on the default format, which is 2019 months, year, month, and day. That is the default way it displays. All right, so when you have a day, for instance, we have today. Today represents a complete date time object. So this date time called today has everything: month, year, day, weekday, hour, minute, not hour, minute, second, but weekday and stuff like that. So I'm going to just copy this and paste. So let's see that we can extract. We can actually extract the different components of the date time from the date function. So if I print it at this point, you can see it say today is today, that is the current date. Day is today.day, today.month, today.year. But you can see that today.month actually returns a number because that is what we have right here. But we'll see how to change it in a minute. I would also like to print weekday, and in this case I want to say today.weekday, and in this case it's going to return the weekday and is giving us straight. Okay, so now we are going to correct all these by displaying the real actual name of the weekday. Now there's also another one called now. If I say let me just go ahead to print now. I say dates dot now, date time dot now. All right, so if I print date time dot now, you are going to see that it's going to give us the complete date and time. So it gives us dates as well as the time. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 items provided for us, and in this case it gives us the seconds and also the microseconds. All right, so let's move a little further. Now we're able to get only the date. How about getting only the time? To get only the time, you use datetime.today. All right, so you use datetime.today, and I'm going to simply replace this by this. So here we getting the current time. We have today is datetime.now, current time is datetime.time. Then specify the dates, right? So what is actually happening here is we're extracting the date from the time. So we are providing this which is datetime.today, and then extracting only the time, right? So basically I'm going to run it for now, and later I explain a little more. So it says the time is. Again, you can also print. Remember, we have this current time here, okay, which is what we have. I want to show you that we can actually extract by saying, let's say we have today. Let me just go ahead to print it out. I can say print datetime dot time and specify today. So you can just say datetime dot today is also going to give you only the time as well. So because so we have this, that's the last thing printed out. So I'm actually putting everything in the same code. So before now, this one was extracted and placed into another variable. All right, so you can actually extract the hour, the date, the hour, minute, second, and microsecond from a time. I'm going to paste it and explain it. So I have the time that now gets the current time, okay, and the time that now gets the current date and time. All right. Then current time extracts the current time. It gives us the current time that hour, that minute, that seconds, that microseconds. So that you need to get used to. Now let's go to the fun part of it, the very, very much interesting part of it. This is how to format date and time in Python. So the first thing I would like us to do, let's get the current date time object, and then we start working with it. So I can say date time dot now. Okay, so now we have today's date time. That now if I print it, you can see it's going to give us everything. It's going to give us everything. So now we want to format this object to display exactly the way we want. So to format it, we are going to use something called strftime. strftime, string format time, something like that. So I can just say formatted time equals equal to today dot strftime. Then you specify the parameters as a string. So you are going to use a series of percentage symbol and additional symbols. So let's start with A. A gives us the weekday. So we want to display something like this. Let me just show you what we want to display. We want to display something like Wednesday, then maybe October 30, 2019. So assuming we want to display something like this, what do we do? So the first thing you have to do is we say percentage %A. So this ensures that it displays the weekday as its full name. And the next one we want to display is the month's name. Okay, so I'm going to display the month name, use lowercase of b. Okay, I'll explain a little more. You can use also capital letter B. It will also give you the month name, but not the full month name. And so we have Wednesday, October 30. So in this case, we want to display the day of the month. So in this case, the. So we have Wednesday, October 30. Okay. Then we display the year, the full year. We use $Y. Wednesday, October 30, 2019. Now I'm going to print the formatted time. After that, we now talk more about formatting. So if I run it at this point, you can see displays actually today is today is Thursday. So right, today is Thursday. So see what's gonna happen when I change this B from lowercase to uppercase, and I'm gonna just run it, and you can see it changes October from October to the full October. And if I change to lowercase, I will change everything to lowercase, and the year is also lowercase. Why? See how it's going to represent everything has been shortened. Thursday is shortened to THU. October is Oct. 31st does not change because it doesn't have to change. And the year is also shortened, as you can see. So this is how to manipulate and format date and time. Let's now display the time as well. So I can say by, then you specify the time. So the first thing you want to talk about is $I. So not $I percentage I displays the hours in a 12-hour format. All right. And the next one, which is $M, displays the minute as a decimal number. So I'm going to display M in capital letter. And the last one is going to be P, either AM or PM. So I'm going to use $P. So if I run it at this point, you can see it says by 04:46 p.m. So you can actually, in between the $I and the $M, you can actually add a column to make it look better. So in case you want to use a 24-hour format, you use H. So you use H in this place. That will give you a 24-hour format. And when you use 24-hour format, you don't need AM or PM. So you can just take out this, and you can see. So how do you get to know all these things? Because there are a whole lot of them to know. I think they have a complete list of it here on my website, contentthegenius.com/python. You come to this page, you can see complete list. I'm going to just click on it, and you can see all the list of items that you can use. So now we are rounding off the 8. I don't want to spend much time on date and time in Python, but try to make sure you follow along. Try all the code snippets in the website. Try to change up things a bit and make sure you get along with it. So we are covering step day 8. The next day is going to be day 9. I'm sure you are following through. I'd like to give you a thumbs up. Congrats for getting this far. We are going to do this together as we are going to complete this series and continue with data science in 10 days. I remain Content the Genius. I'd like to remind you to subscribe and also leave me a comment to let me know if you have any challenges.